Before we dive in, viewer discretion is advised. This content is for entertainment purposes.
Everyone thought this interview would be calm, until one moment flipped everything on live TV forever. What happens when Ryan Reynolds walks onto The View expecting playful banter, only to find sarcasm turning into something sharper, something personal, something that makes the studio air feel tight? Before the laughter cue lights even blink, before anyone realizes what they are watching, the mood begins to tilt in a way no one planned. And if you love real, unfiltered celebrity moments like this, subscribe to Talk Narrative right now. Hit like and drop a comment, because this one spirals fast. The studio is bright, almost deceptively cheerful. Applause rolls in waves as Ryan Reynolds steps out, wearing that familiar half smile. The one audiences trust, the one that says I've got a joke ready, don't worry. He waves, bows slightly, plays it cool. This is his zone. Late night charm. Self-aware humor. That effortless sarcasm people mistake for armor. Whoopi Goldberg leans back in her chair, watching him carefully. Joy Behar, already smiling, tilts her head with interest. Sunny Hostin adjusts her notes. Sarah Haynes leans forward, curious. Alyssa Farah Griffin glances at the audience, sensing the electricity that comes with a guest like Ryan Reynolds, someone known for saying just enough to stay likable, but never boring. The opening moments go exactly as expected. Light jokes. A quick riff about Ryan's latest film. He cracks a line about being contractual obligated to appear charming, and the audience laughs on cue. Joy laughs too, but there's something else there, an edge beneath it. A glint that suggests she's not here just to toss softballs. Joy leans in, her voice sweet but pointed. You know, Ryan, people love your sarcasm. But some say it's a way to dodge real questions. Is that Faye? The laughter fades just a notch. Ryan's smile stays, but his eyes shift. He shrugs casually. I prefer to think of it as a survival skill. The audience chuckles again, but Whoopi raises an eyebrow. Joy doesn't let go. So when you joke about fame, about Hollywood, about politics, are you being honest, or just hiding behind the punchline? It's subtle, not an attack, but it lands heavier than a joke should. Ryan crosses one leg over the other, buying time. He lets out a soft laugh. I mean, if I weren't joking, people would accuse me of taking myself too seriously. And if I do joke, apparently I'm hiding. Can't win. Some laughter. Some murmurs. Sunny glances at Joy, sensing the shift. But sarcasm can deflect accountability, she adds carefully. Especially when you have a huge platform. Ryan turns toward her, nodding slowly. Sure. But so can pretending every conversation needs to be a courtroom. The audience reacts, half laughter, half surprised gasps. Joy's smile tightens. She straightens in her chair. Well, that's an interesting way to put it, Joy says. This isn't a courtroom, Ryan. It's a conversation. Unless conversations make you uncomfortable. The temperature in the room changes. Even Ryan seems to feel it. His grin returns, sharper now. Only when they assume bad faith. Whoopi finally steps in, her voice calm but firm. Okay, let's slow this down. But Joy isn't done. She gestures lightly, as if brushing off Whoopi's interjection. You joke about everything, even serious topics. Some people think that's dismissive. Ryan exhales, a quick breath through his nose. Or maybe some people are just uncomfortable when humor points back at them. The audience oos. A ripple runs through the seats. Sarah Haynes' eyes widen slightly. Alyssa shifts in her chair. This is no longer playful. Joy tilts her head, studying him. Is that directed at me? Ryan pauses. Just a second too long. If the shoe fits, he says, softly, but clearly. The studio erupts. Applause clashes with shocked murmurs. Whoopi's mouth opens in disbelief. Sunny looks down, then back up. Joy's expression hardens. Wow, Joy says. So now I'm the problem. Ryan spreads his hands. I didn't say that. You did. That's the moment. The moment producers will replay in their heads later. The moment viewers at home lean closer to their screens. Joy's voice rises, not loud, but cutting. You come on this show, enjoy the laughs, promote your movie, but when you're challenged, you get snippy. Ryan leans forward now, the humor slipping just enough to reveal irritation underneath. And when I answer honestly, I get labeled dismissive. That's the game, right? Whoopi lifts her hand. Ryan. No, let him speak, Joy says quickly. Ryan nods, appreciative but unyielding. I'm not dodging anything. I just don't believe seriousness requires solemnity. Humor is how I engage. It's how I care. Joy shakes her head. Or how you avoid. The audience is silent now. No laughter. No applause. Just tension hanging thick in the air. Ryan sits back, jaw tightening. The sarcasm that once charmed the room now feels like a blade, double-edged, dangerous. And sometimes, Ryan says, voice low, people confuse being challenged with being disrespected. Whoopi exhales slowly, sensing the clash spiraling beyond control. Cameras zoom tighter. The red light blinks. This isn't banter anymore. This is ego meeting ego, wit colliding with conviction, and no one is backing down. Ryan Reynolds came in expecting laughs. Joy Behar came in expecting answers. And somewhere between sarcasm and scrutiny, the line has already been crossed. And this is only the beginning. The silence that follows feels louder than any applause. Ryan leans back, arms loosely crossed, but his jaw is set now, his body language no longer playful, no longer relaxed. Joy meets his gaze without blinking. This isn't television banter anymore. This is two seasoned performers realizing, at the same time, that neither plans to blink first. Whoopi clears her throat, trying to steer the ship back toward safer waters. All right, everybody take a breath. Ryan, Joy, this doesn't have to be a standoff. Ryan gives a short nod, respectful, but his eyes never leave Joy. I agree. I didn't come here to fight. Joy lets out a quiet, incredulous laugh. Funny way of showing it. A few audience members chuckle nervously, unsure if they are allowed to. Sarah Haynes leans in, voice gentle. Maybe this is just one of those moments where tone gets misread. Ryan turns to her, grateful for the opening. Exactly. Tone gets labeled before intent is understood. Joy folds her hands on the table. Intent matters less when impact lands the same. That hits. Ryan blinks, just once. The sarcasm he's been leaning on hesitates, like a shield suddenly weighing too much. Sunny Hostin nods. That's the point. When you joke about serious things, people listening don't always hear nuance. They hear dismissal. Ryan exhales slowly. I get that. I really do. But what frustrates me is this assumption that humor equals indifference. That if I don't speak in the expected tone, my values don't count. Joy raises an eyebrow. That's not what I said. Ryan's voice tightens just a notch. It's what it feels like. The audience murmurs again. Alyssa Farah Griffin watches the exchange carefully. Ryan, can I ask, do you ever worry that sarcasm gives you an out? That it lets you retreat if things get uncomfortable? Ryan turns toward her, nodding thoughtfully. Sure. Everyone has an out. Some people use silence. Some use outrage. I use jokes. Joy leans forward again. But jokes can be a luxury, Ryan. Not everyone gets to laugh their way through scrutiny. There it is. The undercurrent surfaces. Ryan's posture stiffens. He doesn't interrupt this time. He listens. The room feels heavier for it. Joy continues, voice steady. When you have fame, money, influence, sarcasm can feel like punching down, even when you don't mean it to. Ryan's eyes flicker, a mix of defensiveness and reflection. I don't see myself above anyone. But people see you that way, Joy replies. Whether you like it or not. Ryan lets out a breath that almost sounds like a sigh. So what's the alternative? Be scripted. Be careful. Speak only in approved language. Whoopi finally steps back in, firmer now. Nobody's asking you to be fake. Ryan turns to her. Then what am I being asked to be? The question hangs. Joy doesn't answer right away. She studies him, really studies him now, not as a comedian, not as a brand, but as a man sitting across from her. Present, Joy says finally. Not performing. That lands harder than any accusation. The audience reacts, soft gasps, a few nods. Ryan's lips part slightly, then close. For the first time since the clash began, he looks unsure. I am present, he says quietly. Joy tilts her head. Are you? Ryan's fingers drum once against his arm, then stop. He straightens. I'm not playing a character here. This is me. And that's fine, Joy replies. But when you deflects instead of engages, people notice. Sarah Haynes jumps in quickly, sensing the moment tipping again. Maybe this is just two strong communicators missing each other. Ryan nods. That's fair. Joy shrugs. Maybe. Or maybe you're not used to being challenged without a laugh track. The audience reacts instantly, half laughter, half sharp intake of breath. Ryan's eyes flash. The sarcasm comes back, faster now, defensive. Trust me, he says, voice smooth but edged. I've been challenged plenty. I just don't think every challenge needs to feel like an ambush. Joy's smile disappears completely. Nobody ambushed you. Ryan leans forward again. Then why does it feel like I'm on trial? Whoopi raises her voice slightly. Okay, this is turning into something else. But the momentum has its own gravity. Joy gestures lightly toward him. Because when someone deflects, the conversation circles instead of moving forward. Ryan shakes his head. Or maybe it circles because the expectation is that I must concede something I don't believe. Sunny watches him closely. What don't you believe? Ryan pauses. The room goes still. Even the cameras seem to hold their breath. I don't believe humor disqualifies sincerity, he says finally. And I don't believe I owe anyone a performance of seriousness to prove I care. A beat. Then scattered applause breaks out, quickly joined by louder claps. Ryan doesn't smile. Joy doesn't clap. Joy looks out at the audience, then back at him. No one asked you to perform seriousness. We asked you to engage without hiding. Ryan's voice drops. And I'm telling you, I'm not hiding. Their eyes lock. Two worldviews colliding under studio lights. Whoopi shifts uncomfortably. Sarah presses her lips together. Alyssa glances toward the producer's table. The tension hasn't broken. It's crystallized. Ryan Reynolds came armed with wit. Joy Behar came armed with skepticism. And now, with every word, the gap between sarcasm and sincerity feels wider, more personal, than either of them expected. Ryan's last words linger in the air, heavy and unresolved. The applause that followed them fades quickly, like a wave pulling back from shore, leaving behind an exposed stretch of silence no one rushes to fill. Joy shifts in her seat, uncrossing and recrossing her legs. For the first time since the exchange began, she looks less combative and more contemplative. Whoopi glances between them, then toward the audience. This is why these conversations matter, she says carefully. Because it's not just about jokes or tone. It's about how people hear each other. Ryan nods once, grateful for the reframing, but he doesn't relax. His shoulders stay squared. He knows this isn't over. Joy inhales slowly. Ryan, let me ask you something plainly, she says. No sarcasm. No jokes. Just an answer. Ryan lifts his chin. Okay. Do you think there are moments when humor becomes a shield, whether you intend it or not? The question lands differently this time. No edge. No provocation. Just directness. The audience leans in. Even Sunny stills, her pen hovering above her notes. Ryan doesn't respond right away. He looks down briefly, then back up. Yes, he says. I do. A small ripple of reaction moves through the room. Joy's eyebrows lift slightly. And do you think, Joy continues, that sometimes people want to see you step out from behind it? Ryan exhales, longer now. I think people want authenticity. But authenticity doesn't look the same on everyone. Joy nods slowly. That's fair. The tension eases, just a fraction. Sarah Haynes smiles, relieved. Alyssa shifts forward, sensing an opening. Ryan, you've talked before about growing up using humor to cope. Do you think that's part of what's happening here? Ryan considers that. Yeah, he admits. Probably more than I realize. The audience murmurs softly. This feels like a turn. A moment of vulnerability peeking through the sarcasm. Joy's voice softens. Then maybe this isn't about you being dismissive. Maybe it's about people wanting access to the part of you that isn't armored. Ryan meets her eyes. Armor keeps you alive, he says quietly. That line hits. Hard. A few audience members audibly gasp. Whoopi's expression changes, less host, more human. Joy doesn't jump on it. Instead, she nods. It does, she agrees. But it can also keep people out. Ryan swallows. His sarcasm doesn't come back this time. I didn't expect this to turn into therapy, he says, attempting a smile, but it doesn't quite land. A few polite laughs ripple through the audience, but the room stays serious. Sunny steps in gently. Ryan, no one's asking you to change who you are, just to recognize how it lands. Ryan nods. I hear that. Joy tilts her head. Do you? He looks at her, really looks this time. Yes, he says. But I also need you to hear this. Joy gestures for him to continue. When I joke, I'm not minimizing. I'm connecting. I'm saying, I'm here with you, not above you. And when that gets read as avoidance, it feels like my language is being rejected. The audience breaks into applause again, louder now. This time, even Whoopi claps lightly. Joy waits for the noise to die down. And when humor sidesteps pain, she replies, it can feel like the pain isn't welcome. Ryan's brow furrows. I never want that. Intent versus impact, Sunny says softly. Ryan nods. Yeah. Another pause. The producers would later say this was the moment they realized they weren't watching a clash anymore, but a collision slowly reshaping itself. Joy shifts again, leaning back. You know, she says, I've been doing this a long time. I've seen guests joke to charm, joke to distract, joke to dominate. Ryan listens, silent. And sometimes, Joy continues, when a guest jokes back at the question instead of with the question, it feels like control. Ryan's lips part, then close. He considers it. That's fair, he says finally. Control feels safer than exposure. The audience reacts, soft applause, murmurs of agreement. Sarah Haynes smiles openly now. Whoopi jumps in, sensing a landing zone. See, this is the conversation. Not gotchas. Not defensiveness. Ryan nods. I agree. Joy looks at him for a long moment. Then let me say this, she says. I'm not your enemy. I'm not trying to corner you. I'm pushing because I think you're smart enough to handle it. Ryan lets out a small, genuine laugh. That might be the nicest critique I've ever gotten. The audience laughs with him this time, real laughter, relieving the pressure that's been building for minutes. Joy cracks a smile despite herself. Don't let it go to your head. Ryan grins back, lighter now. Too late. Whoopi laughs. There he is. But even as the humor returns, it's different now, less sharp, less defensive. The edge has dulled, replaced by something closer to mutual respect. Still, not everything is resolved. The earlier tension lingers like a bruise beneath the surface. Sunny glances at the clock. We're almost out of time, she says. But I think this was important. Ryan nods. Me too. Joy turns to him one last time. Just remember, sometimes people aren't asking you to drop the jokes. They are asking you to sit with them a moment longer. Ryan meets her gaze. I can try to do that. The audience applauds, sustained and warm. Cameras pull back slightly. The moment seems to be settling. But beneath the applause, beneath the smiles, something else hums quietly. A recognition that this exchange will be talked about long after the credits roll. Not because it exploded, but because it came close to doing so and changed course in real time. And not everyone watching at home will see it the same way. As the applause tapers off, the show moves on, but the energy in the studio doesn't reset. It can't. The next topic cue flashes on the monitor, yet everyone at the table knows the conversation with Ryan has already overshadowed whatever comes next. The audience settles back into their seats, still buzzing, whispering to one another. This isn't the kind of moment you forget by the next commercial break. Whoopi tries to lighten the mood, tossing out a quick joke about how we should charge extra for therapy sessions. The audience laughs, grateful for the release, but the laughter feels thinner now, like a bandage stretched over something tender. Ryan smiles, plays along, but he's quieter. The sarcasm that once came effortlessly now appears measured, almost cautious. Joy notices. She watches him from the corner of her eye, sensing the shift she asked for, and maybe realizing the weight of it. Sarah Haynes steers the conversation toward Ryan's upcoming project, mentioning the film's themes of resilience and identity. Ryan answers politely, professionally, but there's a new tone in his voice. Less performative, more grounded. When you've lived behind a mask for a long time, he says, choosing his words, stories about identity hit differently. Joy glances at him, surprised. Sunny looks up from her notes. Alyssa leans in again. This wasn't in the press packet. That sounds personal, Sarah says gently. Ryan nods. It is. The audience grows quiet again, not tense this time, but attentive. Ryan continues. I've spent years being the guy people expect, funny, light, unbothered. And most days, that's fine. But sometimes you realize people only hear you when you're entertaining them. Joy's expression softens. This is the present she asked for. That's exhausting, Sunny says. It can be, Ryan agrees. And I think that's why I reacted earlier. Not because I felt attacked, but because I felt misunderstood. Joy exhales slowly. Misunderstanding goes both ways. Ryan nods. It does. The acknowledgement lands quietly, powerfully. No applause this time. Just recognition. Whoopi watches them with a knowing look. This is what happens when you let the walls down, she says. It gets messy, but it gets real. Ryan smiles faintly. Messy I can handle. Joy chuckles under her breath. Careful. That's a dangerous thing to admit on this show. The audience laughs, lighter now. The tension hasn't vanished, but it's transformed. Less combative, more reflective. Alyssa speaks up. I think what people watching are seeing is that humor and seriousness aren't opposites. They are tools. Ryan nods. Exactly. Joy tilts her head. And tools can build, or they can block. Ryan meets her gaze. Then I'll try to build more. Joy's lips curve into a small smile. That's all anyone can ask. The cameras cut briefly to the audience, faces thoughtful, some nodding, some still processing. This isn't the explosive clash viewers may have expected. It's something subtler, and in some ways, more unsettling, a public recalibration. As the segment nears its end, Whoopi signals the wrap. All right, Ryan Reynolds, everybody. The applause rises again, strong but different than before. Not just for a celebrity, but for a moment of honesty people didn't know they were tuning in for. Ryan stands, waves, but before he turns to leave, he pauses. He looks back at the table. At Joy. Hey, he says, voice steady. Thanks for pushing. Joy looks up, surprised. Then she nods. Thanks for not walking away. The audience reacts warmly, applause, a few cheers. Ryan exits the stage, the lights dim slightly, and the show moves into its next segment. But backstage, the moment doesn't end. As Ryan walks down the corridor, producers trail him with quick smiles, whispered reassurances. Great TV, one of them murmurs. Ryan nods politely, but his mind is elsewhere. The conversation loops in his head, the accusations, the vulnerability, the unexpected understanding. In the control room, a producer rewinds the feed, already bookmarking timestamps. Someone else checks social media. Clips are spreading fast. On the studio floor, Joy sits back in her chair as the next guest is introduced. She listens, but her thoughts drift. She replays the exchange, wondering if she pushed too hard, or not hard enough. Sunny leans toward her during a commercial break. That was something. Joy nods. Yeah. You okay? Sunny asks. Joy exhales. I think so. But he wasn't wrong about one thing. What's that? Joy glances toward the hallway where Ryan disappeared. Humor is armor. Sunny nods slowly. And armor leaves marks. Joy doesn't respond. She just looks forward as the cameras roll again. Because even when a conversation ends on camera, its echo has a way of following everyone involved, long after the audience has stopped clapping. And outside the studio walls, the echo is only getting louder. By the time the episode airs coast to coast, the moment has already escaped the studio. Clips hit social media within minutes, short, sharp edits with captions that tilt the story in every possible direction. One version freezes on Ryan's "if the shoe fits" line, looping it with dramatic music. Another focuses on Joy's calm but cutting "are you present?" TikTok stitches multiply. Twitter threads unravel. Instagram comments explode. Some viewers cheer Ryan on, praising him for standing his ground, for refusing to perform seriousness on command. Finally, someone pushes back. They write, Joy crossed a line. Others side firmly with Joy, applauding her for doing what they believe hosts are supposed to do. Challenge power, not cushion it. Sarcasm isn't accountability, one comment reads. She clocked him. And then there's a third group, the quietest, but growing fast, who see something else entirely. They see a man recalibrating in real time. A woman pushing, then pausing. A conversation that didn't explode, but bent, and in bending, revealed something uncomfortable. Entertainment blogs rush to label it an on-air clash, but the headlines can't quite agree on who won. Morning shows debate it. Podcasts dissect body language. A viral clip shows Joy's face softening as Ryan admits armor keeps you alive. That line becomes a quote graphic, shared thousands of times. Backstage, Ryan sits in his car longer than usual before leaving the lot. He scrolls through his phone once, then locks it. He knows better than to read too much, but one message catches his eye. A fan writes, I've always laughed with you. Today I listened to you. He leans his head back, staring at the roof of the car. That one sticks. Later that night, he posts a simple story. No joke. No punchline. Just a black screen with white text. Conversations are messy. Thanks for having one with me. No names. No hashtags. Joy sees it the next morning. She's used to backlash. Decades in the chair have given her thick skin. Still, this one feels different. The criticism isn't just loud, it's layered. Some accuse her of ambushing. Others say she didn't push hard enough. But mixed in are messages from viewers who say they recognize themselves in that exchange. Parents, comedians, people who learned early to laugh before they were laughed at. Joy reads one email twice. I didn't agree with everything you said, it reads. But thank you for asking the question anyway. She closes her laptop and sits quietly for a moment. No applause. No cameras. Just reflection. The next day on the show, Whoopi references the moment, not directly, but enough. You know, she says, sometimes the loudest TV moments aren't the blow-ups. They are the pauses. The audience applauds. Joy nods. Sunny smiles knowingly. Ryan's name trends again that evening, not for a joke, not for a movie, but for a clip where he listens. And that's what lingers. Not the sarcasm, not the tension, but the shift. People replay the moment where his voice drops, where Joy doesn't interrupt, where the room breathes together for half a second longer than television usually allows. In a media landscape trained on extremes, that restraint feels almost radical. Weeks later, the clip still circulates. Comment sections remain divided, but less hostile. Strangers argue, yes, but they quote each other. They ask questions. They listen, at least a little. And somewhere in that noise, a quieter truth settles in. That armor isn't weakness, but neither is taking it off. That humor can connect and conceal. That challenging someone doesn't have to mean defeating them. Ryan Reynolds went on The View expecting laughs. Joy Behar went in expecting answers. What they both got was something rarer, a moment that refused to stay simple. And now it's your turn. Did Ryan's sarcasm cross a line, or was Joy pushing too hard? Did this conversation feel necessary, or uncomfortable in the wrong way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear where you land.